Good afternoon. Give me one moment here to just refresh my laptop. And it looks like we are good to go. So good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you're watching from. This is Carol Buckalew, Inky Stampers. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I have a quick and easy card for you today. Really easy. But it makes a big impact, and I'll share with you why in just a moment. But some of the products that I used today were the Handcrafted Elements dies. These are standalone dies in the mini catalog, the current mini catalog, and there's some beautiful cutouts here on these dies. I use the ornament die, so this die and this die, as well as these little flower sprig dies. On my card. I also used a sentiment from the Christmas, no, did I? Yes, a sentiment from the Christmas Classics dies, as well as this leaf bow. And then I did not use the Joy of Noel stamp set. However, I did use the pine bough in the dies, in the Joy of Noel dies. Hi, Mary. Thank you for joining. So this is the card, and like I mentioned, super easy, but I want you, I'm going to try to raise it up there. I want you to see all of the sparkle and the shimmer. I used the silver foil specialty pack, and I used both the bright, what I would call bright silver, and also the textured and darker silver included in that pack. And I also used 3 of the colors included in the soft shimmer specialty paper. Oh, thank you, Mary. So this is Night of Navy, Pretty Peacock, and Lost Lagoon. And just beautiful, beautiful paper. And just real simple on the inside there. Okay, so we're going to get started, and this probably won't take up too much time. So what I have here is I did pre-die cut my silver pieces, and I've got my panels here for the card front. I designed this card as part of a sketch challenge for the Happy Inkin' Thursday Blog Cup, which is tomorrow. Now, one of the most challenging things for this card, and it's not really so much challenging, but trying to lay out these panels. And you know, when I cut these panels, I did check to make sure that they were all kind of consistent with each other. But to me, probably one of the most challenging things is to get these to line up, you know, and get them glued on without getting any glue on the silver foil. If you get glue on your foil paper, it is very difficult to get off. I'm trying to arrange these so that I can just kind of pick up my hand, and there we go. Be very careful here. So I am just going to grab that with my tweezers and start gluing these up. Yeah, you definitely want to try and avoid getting any glue on your silver foil paper, just because it's extremely difficult to get off, nearly impossible. And when I'm putting this glue around the edges, I'm trying to move in about 1/4 inch because the glue will smush out, and then, you know, then you've got a problem. All right, let me just try to see it. But the glue does give you some wiggle room. I'm going to scooch that over just a bit. I'm just going to recheck my pieces here before that glue sits real hard. Okay, I think I'm fairly good. I think that's fairly good. I'm going to move that corner up just a smidge. All right, looking good. I'm going to go ahead and adhere my next piece down. So we are still enjoying fine weather here on the East Coast. We've had very little rain. Actually, it's getting quite dry. The leaves have already peaked. They have already bloomed out all their color, and the leaves are starting to fall. We did have a couple of kind of chilly mornings, so that kind of progresses the leaves a little quicker. We still have strawberries blooming though, which is pretty amazing. So I just want to make sure that this panel is bumped up against that Night of Navy panel. And I'll do the same thing here for this piece. So I hope wherever you are, you've had some nice fall color. It's one of my favorite times of year. I love the fall. All right. Just making sure that is good. Give that a nice press down. Hey, Amy, thanks so much for joining. Appreciate it. I was just saying that all the leaves are starting to fall. We're past the peak color on the trees for fall, which is kind of sad because that means winter's coming, but we always have spring to look forward to. Okay, so I did pre-cut my pieces here for my card, and I'm going to place a pine bough and one of these little flowers kind of up at the top here, and the other one is going to kind of come in from this direction. Now, on my ornament, this is 2 pieces. So the bright silver in the center, I've already adhered. What I did was when I cut the large ornament piece, I used adhesive paper when I die cut it, just for this middle section, just so that it would be easier to adhere this kind of insert piece to this oval here. When I originally made my card, I glued it, and there is actually a little tiny bit of glue there. You may not be able to see it. I always forget to use the adhesive sheets, and I know a lot of people really like them. I may be becoming a fan of adhesive sheets because it made putting these 2 pieces, especially working with foil, it made it very easy. And then our ornament is going to kind of sit right like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get my pieces kind of adhered down here the way I want them. But you know, like I said, very simple card. The foil and the shimmer paper just kind of push this card, what is a very simple card to put together, just kind of pushes it over the top, just because it's so darn beautiful. Okay, we'll get that piece down. And with the shimmer paper, you're going to have to kind of press that down a few times to encourage the glue to stick to it. And I think we'll put, and I'm just going to hold my piece up here and make sure I've got it where I want it, kind of out like that. This has so many die cuts, so you've got to kind of carefully pick and choose where you're going to put your adhesive. I thought about die cutting these with the adhesive sheets, but with all of the texture on the shimmer paper, I wasn't quite sure if it would hold to that shimmer paper. So I opted for the glue for this part. And let's just go ahead, and I'm going to hold my ornament up there, and this piece, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab my my big stamping block and get it held down with that. Alrighty, let's get this piece adhered. I can tell I have a little bit of glue on my fingers. I just stuck to the foil. Okay, and I think that piece was right about there. So right now, we have a new kit in the kits collection, the Best Destination kit. I haven't ordered it yet. It looks adorable. It really does. I think I'm going to have to order it so I can play with it a little bit. But be sure to check that out in the online store. And new online exclusives were added on November 7th of this week. So be sure to check out the online exclusives in the online store. If you're not familiar with online exclusives, you won't find the items in that category anywhere in a catalog. You can only find them online, hence the name. And so some really beautiful things were just added. Just going to check and see how I want this, where I want it. Let's put it right there. And I'm going to go ahead and use my block again. That just puts some nice pressure on that while I get some Stampin' Dimensionals here on my ornament. And what else? November Paper Pumpkin. So the November Paper Pumpkin is called Warm Wishes. There are 8 boxes, 2 different designs, 4 of each. And there's also, I think I'm going to use mini dimensionals here. I don't usually use these, but I think I can barely grab them. They're so tiny. So there's 8 boxes included in the kit, and 2 different designs of each. And I'm going to have to check these Stampin' Dimensionals, make sure that, you know, these little minis are so small that I can barely grab them. That's funny. Okay. And then there's also treat bags. And the November Paper Pumpkin coordinates with, let me just make sure I can't see this. No, I'm doing good. Coordinates with the October Paper Pumpkin kit. You only, if you want the November kit, you only have until November 10th to subscribe to Paper Pumpkin. So keep that in mind if you're wanting that kit. You'll need to grab it soon. And within the next, you'll need to subscribe within the next couple of days. All right, I just found that my tweezers are easier to grab these small dimensionals with. Let me put a bigger one down here. Yeah, the minis, I just, I don't have a lot of dexterity in my fingers, and so it's difficult sometimes for me to really grab small things. So definitely the tweezers or take your pick tool, either one of those things would definitely be a big help. I think I'm good. I'm trying to decide if I want to put maybe one there and one there, but I'm not really seeing a place to do that. We'll load it up here with dimensionals, make sure it doesn't sag, but let's put one there. That kind of supports the center a little bit more. And we'll put one right here. There we go. All right, let's see if I can get all of these covers removed. And we can get on. Yeah, I know, Mary, me too. I definitely have larger hands. I wouldn't say man hands, but almost. I just have larger hands. But, you know, once arthritis starts setting in, it makes it difficult to pick up little things like this. All right. There we go. And we are going to put this just right on the card front. I'm going to tilt this up just a little bit so I can make sure that I'm getting it where I want it. And getting it somewhat straight on the card. Whoops. There we go. We can push that down. Alrighty, and then I'm going to go ahead and adhere this whole panel to a Night of Navy card base. Night of Navy with this pretty peacock and Lost Lagoon are the bomb. Again, I'm keeping my glue about 1/4 of an inch in so that so that it doesn't squish out and get on the foil. So I'm just trying to be very careful with that. But this would be, I think, a good card to make multiples of, because it's really not, you know, really not difficult. But again, with all the shine and shimmer, it just makes for a big impact. And I'm already like thinking this might be a little crooked, but you know what? I think we're going to go with it. It's fine. All right, let's work on the inside panel. I kept this very basic. Just going to do a tiny bit of stamping here. Get our sentiment stamped. I opted not to put a sentiment on the front of the card. Just because I thought it kind of took away from the look of the card. So it's very simple on the front. We just let that foil and shimmer paper do all of the work. And my inside greetings says tidings of comfort and joy, and that is beautiful in the Night of Navy. Got one more thing I want to stamp in Night of Navy. And this tiny little corner stamp is really the cutest. You could stamp this decorative design in the corners of your card. I might do that on this card. But this is in the Christmas Classic stamp set. And since I'm not using designer series paper, I'm using specialty paper, but not designer series paper, I opted to just stamp that little corner stamp onto my envelope flap. And I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I stamp this little corner stamp on our card here on the inside panel? I don't know. Trying to decide. Yeah, I think it does make for an elegant card. And again, with all of that shine and shimmer. I'm all about the shine and shimmer at Christmas time. I really like that. Okay, let me grab just a little scrap piece of paper here. And I try to preserve my grid paper as long as I can. I usually change it out a couple of times a week. It depends on what I'm doing. I'm trying to decide, do I want to stamp this off? So on my original card, I used Lost Lagoon ink to stamp this this pine, and I just got a whole messy glob of ink on my block. Just clean that off. I think this time I'm going with Pretty Peacock ink, and I'm going to stamp that off one time and then stamp onto my panel, and then we'll do this a couple of times. Really makes it pretty. Just like that. Oh, the corner stamp may be in a different color. Okay, we could do that. We'll give that a try. Hey, it's your card. You can do what you want. I like those little stamps that Stampin' Up! Includes. They're kind of fun. Easy to overlook them because they're so small. And then I'm also stamping the pine bough on the corner front of our envelope. That is gorgeous. I actually like the Pretty Peacock ink better, I think. All right, let me clean that little corner stamp up. I can get rid of my scrap paper. We are just about done here, just about. And I've still got my Pretty Peacock ink out, so let's stamp this here in the corner of, I like that. Such a fun stamp. That's pretty. Yeah, good call, good call. Alrighty. We can go again and go ahead and get our panel on the inside. Hopefully that Night of Navy ink is dry enough that I don't get it smeared. What's your favorite stamp, Mary? The pine bow? I like it too. I use it a lot, actually, on my Christmas cards just because I think it's so pretty. All right. And no matte on the inside here. Just the white against the Night of Navy is quite pretty. Just making sure I get an equal reveal. And that looks good to me. And that is our card for today. I told you it was quick and easy. And just really pretty. Makes a great high impact card. Lots of wow factor with little effort. So that was the Stamped Off Lost Lagoon. And it's very light, very subtle. I'm kind of thinking I like the the pretty peacock Stamped Off on that better. But they're both pretty. So that is it for today. I want to thank you so much for joining me. I will be back next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, which hopefully is not next week. No, I think the week after. That Wednesday, I will not be going live. I'll be spending my day in the kitchen prepping for Thanksgiving dinner. But next Wednesday, I will be back. So thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful rest of the day. And we will, I'll see you all next week. Hey, Karen, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.